Hey guys, what's going on? You know, I've talked about this rig a lot of times this year about having the buffer tank and, you know, things like that. Well, I did some work recently out by the lake. One of their water spouts was pretty good. The other one was kind of slow. And luckily, and I say luckily, I had put a filter on. Now, you can't really see that. Well, maybe you can. That thing should be clear, but it's full of crap. Okay? So, in reality, the best thing would be is a filter from the house going to the tank and then filtering it out. I say that because of this. I'm going to have to... The machine was running a little weird the other day at the end of that job that I did. It's like the downstream injector sounded weird, the gun sounded weird, just everything sounded weird. I had plenty of water, so I really couldn't figure out, you know, what was going on. I still don't know exactly, because it wasn't a water issue, but you can definitely see a lot of dirt in this filter. Well, we'll just do this. I'll just take it off. I cut the flow off of the water. I cut the flow off of the water, so what's in here will just be what's in here. But look at that. That looks like pepper. There's so much stuff in it. And luckily, I had a filter. Could you imagine what that would have done to my pump? So all that is sand. I will definitely not be using that same spigot the next time I go out there. But look at that. Guys, make sure, and I am the world's worst, but for the longest time, I didn't have a filter at all. And, I mean, look what would have ran through my machine. That would have clogged it up. That would have messed the pump up. It did a lot of damage. And that's just what's right here. I'm going to show you what's in the tank. So now I got that rinsed out with my rinse valve. What I'll do now is, just to see if any got to here, I'm going to take that off and see what that looks like. So, as you can see here, I'm going to try to take this out. So I'm sure some of you other guys don't have things like this in your machines because it's just a better machine, or you got better filters. But this right here is why my machine was acting the way it was. Now, you've seen how much sand the filter stopped, but this is how much still went through. I seen the guy, when I unhooked his water hose, his sprinkler looked like this. I just thought that it was honestly, I just thought that it had been sitting on there for a while, but this has never looked like that. So I'm going to crack this valve and see if I can clean this off, just to show you what it should look like. You can see a major difference already. All right, now you can see that one. It still has a little bit on it, but nothing like it did. So I'll probably put this under a little high pressure and try to get it cleaned off, and then I'll show you what my buffer tank looks like. So I hop up here on the rig, and when I was trying to pull water from this the other day, it just seemed like it wasn't getting any. Really seemed like the machine wasn't getting any, and I couldn't figure it out. But then showed you what that filter looked like. Showed you what that looked like. So now I'm going to show you what the buffer tank looks like. That is all sand. So what I'm going to have to do is suck every bit of that out of there, drain it, suck it all out, and clean it out for sure. And I wouldn't be surprised if I don't end up putting a filter there just for incoming water. Luckily, when it still affected it, maybe that screen didn't work as good as I would have wanted it to on that one. It's a 40 mesh, so I figured it would have been fine. But that right there is horrible. That right there is what messes machines up. So I'm going to get this drained out and have to rinse it out. So just want to let you guys know, if you go out on these rural areas, make sure you are filtered very good, because I seen some buildup when I unhooked their lawn sprinkler, and trust me, I now know why. So just be careful when you guys are out in these areas. Any area really, it never hurts to have a filter. Never hurts. So that's my time for today. See you guys. Well guys, kind of moment of truth with this pump. I showed you the job I had out not too long ago, and everything kind of got gummed up from the inlet. Where am I at? Right here, the inlet. And in my mind, if it was that gummed up on there, and all that sand that was in that filter and my buffer tank, I kind of figured that the inside of this is probably going to look the same. So that's what I'm here today to do. What I'm doing is taking these top ones off first. I had some experience with this with my other pressure washer, but I'm taking these top ones off. I'm doing this with y'all. I ain't live or nothing. Always seems like live versions of stuff aren't as good. Now I can see these are check valves. Those little tips that you can see right here, they're check valves. And from my understanding, the one closest to the outlet where everything goes is always going to be the worst. So if you look in there, you got like dark brown, light brown, and clear. So that is okay. So with my experience on working on these, is I would take the top off. That way the bottom, when I take the bottom ones off, they can kind of flush out. And this is probably going to be just like the AAA pump that I had. The issue I'm having with this is it's surging. It runs and surges. It's not like a machine gun like I've had in the past when my AAA pump went out. It's not like a machine gun, but this thing ran so much sand through it and had so much buildup that I'm just trying to alleviate problems. So I don't know if the pump is shot because it ran through so much sand through it. I don't know if it's going to be, I don't know if it's still going to work right. It hasn't been working right on the last job I went to. I thought it was just once I cleared the filter out that it would be okay, but that's not the case. So what you got to do is then come in here with some needle nose pliers, take it off. So you just reach in there. They're plastic, so you just try not to damage nothing. Reach in there and pull them out. That one looks good. They all actually look good so far. That one looks good. And that one looks good. My AAA pump, when I did this, they were horrible looking. So let's take this one out. This one I know is not going to look good just because it's right here at the inlet. Yeah, see that one? It looks like it has a little rust built up or something in it. That don't look so good. I may be able to swap that around. I may just have to get another kit. But they are intact. The springs are intact. The check valves in. I mean, all of it is looking like it's supposed to. So what I wanted to do was take all this out, investigate. So now I can run water down through here, through these top valves, ports, and they'll flow out here and just see if anything rinses out. It may or it may not. I may have, my unloader may be clogged. I don't know. I guess that'll be one of the things that I'll check out next. But guys, it's all started from me not taking enough water hose on a job and hooking up to a section that I really wasn't wanting to hook up to. The pressure was super low. You can see in the video it was low, but I didn't have any extra hose, and I should have. I mean, I should have taken plenty. I had 75 feet, and I thought they had a spigot on the front, but that was my fault. But then it ended up gumming up here, and I ran the machine, so I don't know if I've warped something on the inside. Not real sure. So that's where we're at now. I'm going to flush this a little bit with some water and see if I can flush anything out. I don't really expect that to happen. Just being honest, I don't expect anything to flush out bad. The only check valve that I have that looks like anything could be possibly wrong with is this one. It looks, and you know, that's the one that is where the outlet is, so that's how it's gonna be. But I mean, the spring's still there. It's not rusted. It's just brown. But I still don't see anything wrong with the actual check valve. So I'm gonna flush this. I'm gonna pour some water in it and see what happens. So what I'm gonna do is just fill these up. You can't really tell because I dump water everywhere, but it'll go from the top to the bottom, and just if there's anything in there that needs to come out, flush it out. And it's all good. So I think my check valves are good. The engine's clear. The pump's clear. So now it's on to the next thing. So guys, what I want to show you is my check valves were fine. I had 3 in here. You seen in the last part that I had. This is like a 3-part video, but I had taken them out, put them in, no problems with the check valves. So I noticed that my filter was leaking, and the machine was running like, when I say in this video, earlier in this video, that it wasn't running right, it was like almost like a check valve was bad. It wasn't if you've seen a prior video or see some of the other ones, it looks like it just goes like the water just goes up pulsating. With this one, what would happen is it would run high and then low, high, low, high, low. I did a job, I limped through it, and I was just like, let me get through this job, that way I can get this thing home and figure out what it is. But I noticed every time that I was parking, my filter was leaking. I'd take it off, put it back on, take it off, put it back on, and yeah, it sucked. And so anyway, let me see if I can do it like this. I'm gonna go ahead and close the valve off. So I noticed I noticed what had happened is my filter was leaking, and I got it off Amazon. I think it was like $15-20. That's about an average price for it. So I thought I just got a crappy filter. And just so happened, you know, it's one of those blessings that you just go, oh man, I'm so glad that I was at the right place at the right time, because I pull into my backyard. I'm going to start investigating this thing again, and I want to start investigating it, trying to figure out what is wrong with it. And luckily this time I didn't pull as far as I had before. And you see this, and you'll see in the video earlier on in this video, when I take this off, the seal right here, well, that seal came off of this when I was doing that part of the video. And so when I was put it back on to my filter, it was sucking air in. So I guess it would suck enough air to bog it down, and then it would not. And then it would suck enough air and then not. So that was the whole issue with the machine after I got the buffer tank cleaned out. After I got I had the buffer tank over there cleaned out. I had the outlet right here, filter cleaned out. I actually took this tank off. I didn't use a shop vac on it. I took it off, I drained it, turned it upside down, and I rinsed it for like an hour to get all the sand out of it. Still had issues. So I'm like, okay, I gotta go back there and try anything. And just so happened, I'm walking in front of the truck and I see this seal right there. And I said, I wonder if that's big enough for that bowl. And so I take the bowl off, and guess what? It fits perfectly in it. I tighten it back up, start the machine up, and it is perfectly fine. So what I thought I was going to have to buy, I mean, I was already checking check valve kits. I was checking pumps. I was checking everything that I could think of, trying to get a parts list together, because I just knew that running that machine that day off of that bad garden hose had screwed the pump up. Luckily it didn't. I've been out hot, and I mean, man, I'm talking, it is hot here in Tennessee. Okay, you feel me? I mean, I'm talking, it is hot. But I have been going full blast ever since then. Figured out what was wrong with it. Like I said, it all originated from a bad faucet. It all originated because I didn't take enough hose. If I'd have taken enough hose, if I would have measured it like I normally do a property, there just a lot of different things that kind of fell through my system, the systems I have in place for my business. But you know, stuff like that happens. I'd been to the property. I thought I knew it. I thought I knew where the water faucet was. You know, soon as I felt something weird with the machine, I should have stopped it, but I just wanted to get through it. You know, that would have been clogged up. I wouldn't have taken this off. But anyway, guys, it was just a major blessing that I drive my truck in the backyard, just look down and go, well, I wonder where that seal came from. It looks pretty new. And it was from that, because without that seal, the water would leak down. And I was in a parking lot, and it had leaked out like 4 spots behind me. And I was like, what the heck? So I got to where I was cutting the valve off just so it wouldn't leak anymore. So I would say, long story short, this is going to be about a 15-minute video. But long story short, when you hear something wrong with the machine, turn it off and investigate. I know you want to get done. I know you want to think that it's going to work its way out, but just stop and try to figure it out. But all of that originated from a bad well, more than likely. And then on top of the bad well, I end up losing the filter. So the issue with the machine running horrible Afterwards, was it clogged up here? Got that filter cleaned out, that filter cleaned out, that buffer tank cleaned out. Check valves were checked, they were good. And yeah, it just ended up being a seal. So, you know, guys, if you take a bowl of these, like you take that bowl off, just make sure that you got the seal back on it. So that's my time for today, and I'll catch you guys later.